You asked for me. Here I am.
Just another movie night.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. We are Just Another Movie Night, and I'm Scott.
And I'm Joe.
And today we're doing before and after reviews, where we go see a brand new movie in the theater and give our thoughts before and after. Spoiler free?
Spoiler free.
Unless otherwise, but we usually are spoiler free.
Yeah.
You know? And we're about to see the newest Captain America movie, which I believe is called Brave New World. Oh no, they changed it. Is it Brave New World
No, it's
now?
Brave New World.
Because it's had many titles. At one point, it was New World Order. This is an interesting one to talk about because there's been so much controversy around this, like reshoots, recastings, all these things. But it's very sketchy if any of that is actually true.
Yeah, I actually haven't heard really anything much.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about it because this movie was supposed to come out many, many times, and it just kept getting pushed back, and it kept getting what they said was reshoots, but they said that's normal. So there's been like a lot of controversy that the reshoots were extensive and they had to rewrite the movie and they had bad test screenings. And then there was the other side of the thing going, no, this is normal. Usually they go and do this and they add some more stuff in later, and the reshoots weren't abnormal. But what's weird about it is there were actors that shot a whole bunch of scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there was a wrestler. Can't remember the wrestler's name right now, but I think he was dropped from the movie.
Oh.
He had filmed apparently like an entire thing. He was playing a villain, and they dropped the scenes and apparently went and filmed scenes with Giancarlo Esposito. Is that
Esposito.
That's how we're saying it.
Esposito. That's how he says it. So we have
Yes.
to say it like that.
Yeah. And apparently he was filmed his scenes last minute, and I don't really know. And I think they might have shifted because there was another controversy where there is a character in here who is a superhero from Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And that caused a whole bunch of controversy because people can't get enough of controversy. We have to shift things all over the time. And also, there's also the fact that New World Order scared people. That was a title people found very offensive.
Well, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's worry about everything. And then they change the title and they keep reshuffling this movie. So I don't really know how much of that controversy is real, how much was manufactured. And then, of course, there's the entire Disney, the people who now hate Disney, they just won't stop shitting on Disney. People who say that Marvel is completely going down, and we're in the fifth phase, I believe they call it, the different phases of different Marvel films, and I think we're in the fifth one, and they say a lot of people think this is by far just garbage. Everything's been garbage for the fifth phase. I believe the fifth phase so far is Quantumanium, the Marvels, and I feel like there's another movie that was in there. And it's not good if we can't remember what it was.
I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I know. I feel like the last ones were Quantumanium and the Marvels.
I think so.
And then there were some TV shows in there as well.
Well, yeah, like there was Loki, right? Or that was...
Yeah, I don't know how Loki fits into it season-wise.
Yeah.
It's also like, technically Deadpool Wolverine is a part of Phase 5 because the characters from Loki showed up. So I would assume that would mean that, but I don't know.
I got nothing.
So
I mean, they're considering Phase 5 like Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Oh, I forgot. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is the one I forgot about. Why did I forget about probably the best of the three?
Oh, and the Thunderbolts is also
but
that hasn't come out yet. But yeah, I don't know. I'm concerned a little because the only thing I did read about this was that it was getting bad reviews on Rotten Tomatoes,
Oh,
which
wow.
we don't give a shit about what Rotten Tomatoes has, but it's just still, I
Yeah.
don't know.
You know, one of the controversies that I think I personally have with the film, and maybe no one else is talking about this, but I don't know why. One of the controversies that I can't stop thinking about is that they replaced the actor who played General Ross in this movie with Harrison Ford. Now, the actor who played General Ross passed away, and they replaced the actor. Now, I don't know why that's okay when they made such a big thing about not replacing Chadwick Boseman.
Right.
And doesn't that feel a little bit of offensive to the actor that passed away?
Yeah, I would say that's kind of rude.
It feels strange.
Yeah.
Especially since the actor, which I might butcher this. I want to say, I always get these names confused. So give me a second here. John Hurt? Because there's three actors who have very similar names.
Okay.
And they're all great. And I keep getting them all mixed up.
I think you're trying to say John Hurd. He was the dad in Home Alone.
No.
Then
No, not the guy Sharknado.
Well, it's definitely not John Hurt, because he would. I mean, that's no.
Then it's William Hurt.
Okay, well, yeah, John Hurt passed away in 2017.
Yeah. The one, he was an accidental tourist.
He was an alien. He was an
Oh,
alien.
not him.
See, I can't.
I know. No, that's the guy from the Elephant Man. That's what I'm saying. I get these names mixed up all the time. These three actors' names. I hate myself for doing it.
Okay. William, yes. Okay, so it might be William Hurt.
It's
he
William
passed
Hurt.
away in 2022.
Yes. Oh my God. I feel
Okay.
terrible for not getting that name exactly right. But he is actually he was a great actor. And I feel, terrible. He was in Altered States. He so many good movies.
Yeah, he was. He was a good actor.
Oh, such a good actor. And I don't know why that's okay and there's no conversation about that. Because I guess it's the conversation that you got Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford is 80, and I'm sick of him.
I love Harrison Ford. He does have that grumpy old man vibe to him these days. And
Yeah.
it's been I've never found it as charming as some other people do. I find it a little uncomfortable sometimes. But it is funny to see him playing Red Hulk, which is already spoiled in all the trailers. So that's a funny idea. Because I just something funny about a grouchy old man becoming a Hulk.
I mean, it's funny, but I am just like, I don't know. I'd have to see it before I start picking it apart.
Oh, of course.
But
That was just a conversation. I just wanted to bring it up because it was one of the things that kind of bothered me when I heard that he was recast. I'm like, I was just wondering, why didn't they just get another character in the universe?
right.
I know in the comic books, Thunderbolt Ross became the Red Hulk, and so they wanted to follow that up. It's interesting.
Yeah. So that's your concern.
It was my only. It's not really a concern because either way, it's going to be a good actor. But I just wondered why there was no conversation about that,
True.
and I think that was kind of odd.
I agree.
Otherwise, I love the cast. There's a really good cast going on here. I really like the new Captain America.
I think Anthony Mackie's great.
I think Anthony Mackie's great, and I really like. I look. I guess this is a hot topic here, but we liked the show.
That was actually my favorite Marvel TV show so far.
Loki's was my favorite, but that is my second. I know, and I like. There was Moon Knight and stuff, and we're not counting Daredevil, by the way, because Daredevil's
No, that doesn't count.
top of the mountain. That's the peak.
Yeah, you can't touch
Yeah,
Daredevil.
Daredevil's amazing. Loki was pretty damn good, but I really loved the chemistry between the two actors. I love some of the topics they were, exploring, and I really liked the idea. Sure, was the villain good? Not really.
No.
Was it a little too preachy in the end that it wasn't so successful? Sure,
Yeah.
but it was a great start to him becoming Captain America, and I'm really intrigued to see where he goes next.
Yeah. I'm pretty intrigued by him. I like him. I like him as an actor. I think he's got a lot of charisma and
Yeah.
and he's adorable.
Yeah,
So
he's had a tough run. I don't think anything has really been successful for him, and that kind of sucks.
I know we didn't see his one film when he was in the woods, and it's like a horror film.
Oh yeah, that came. I heard it wasn't that
We
good.
didn't see that. I really want to.
He gets a lot of blame thrown at him. I think there's a show called Altered States that people liked the first season, but I think in the second season they replaced. I guess the whole concept is the character actor dies, he gets a new body,
Oh, I see.
and I think he replaced him in the second season, and everybody was like ruined it.
What
And
the
I was like,
hell?
damn, I never watched the show, so I can't even explore that. But I was like, damn, man, Anthony Mackie can't catch a break.
I know. I know. I hope that he. I hope this movie makes money for him. I hope it's successful. I want him to be successful with this because this is like huge shoes to fill, you know, Captain America.
Yeah,
I think,
that's what
you
I'm
know.
saying. Yeah,
I mean, I think it's amazing that he is the new Captain America. I think he's
it's a
great.
cool thing. Yeah,
So I'm excited to see where this is going to go. But the only issue I have is that this director, I don't,
yeah.
I don't have
didn't look
any.
this up.
Okay, so the director's name is Julius Ona, and I have never seen. I think we saw Cloverfield Paradox.
Yeah, we have, and that's one of those movies that suffers from a re-edit to fit into the Cloverfield movies, which has happened on 3 movies now,
Yeah,
which is kind of really strange. They did this with Cloverfield Lane. These movies were actually something else, and they came in last minute and they changed them. I didn't hate Paradox.
I honestly don't remember it. I'm not gonna lie; it was very forgetful for me.
I did not hate it. I know people just really, really just shit on it.
I don't-
I thought it was fine.
I would have to watch it again. I don't remember, but he was a director on that. He directed a movie called Loose, and he directed a movie called The Girl Is in Trouble. I mean, he's directed a few films, nothing that I've ever seen. Most of them I've not seen, but I'm a little worried because his resume, I don't feel like his resume is impressive enough to hand him a film like this.
It's kind of odd that they chose him.
But then again, you know, there's always some first-time directors or newer directors
I guess that's true.
without a lot of items on their resume that actually do pretty well, you know. So I want to definitely give this a chance, and I want to see how he does this.
You're absolutely right, because I think all the Marvel movies really kind of benefited from a bunch of indie directors coming
Yeah.
in and making some interesting stuff. I mean, who knew the Russo brothers? I knew the Russo brothers from TV,
Yeah,
like Arrested Development and stuff like that. What an odd choice, but it worked out. Mm-hmm. I think the director of all the Spider-Man films only had done Cop Car,
oh,
with the 2 kids took the
Yeah,
car
I
from
like
with Kevin
that.
Bacon. And I was like, wow, what a small indie film.
Mm-hmm.
And it, to go to what he did and make such successful films. Kind of shocking. So I think you're right about that. They do have a pedigree of getting really interesting directors to pull out some interesting stuff. So
yeah. I'm curious to see how it's going to be done. I mean, I'm not going to say that I don't have any faith because I do have faith. I'm just a little concerned about kind of, I don't want to say an inexperienced director. I don't want to say that, but like he doesn't have a lot of movies on his resume, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm a little cautious, but I'm still here for it.
yeah, I kind of I do miss comic book films. So when I know everybody says there's so many, but it feels like it's not as much as it used to be, which maybe is a good thing. But I really enjoy them, especially the Marvel version of them. You know, the Marvel, they feel like action films, and I kind of sometimes want a good action film. And I think this is that possibility. You know, I kind of don't even look at Marvel movies as comic book films anymore or whatever. I kind of look at them as really cool action movies,
Yeah, that's true.
especially Captain America.
But one other thing that we should note about the director is that he's also he wrote the screenplay. So
Oh, so that's why.
if this movie sucks, we have to place a lot of the blame on him.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So that makes a lot more sense of why they gave him the whole thing. He
Yeah.
probably turned in this idea.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder
well-
how many script doctors were on this thing, how many people were credited for dialogue, because that's always comes out later on.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just have to see. I mean, I don't know. I don't really have any expectations.
Yeah.
I want it to be fun. I want it to be a fun ride, but I also want it to have a good story.
Yeah,
So,
of
you know,
course,
you
who
can't
doesn't
just
want
cover it up anymore with all the action. You know, you can't cover up a bad story with action.
that. Yeah,
You just can't. Like the razzle dazzle is just not going to get it anymore.
I guess that's true too.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, what do you think though, score wise?
I'm probably going to come out with a 6. I don't want it to be mediocre.
I think so too. I was thinking 6 the whole time. I'll be
Yeah.
surprised if it's even better than that. But I wouldn't mind. I would love that, you know?
Yeah, I hope it is. I hope I come out with a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
That would be great. So we'll see.
Okay, let's go check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Thaddeus Ross.
Whatever this is, Cap, be careful.
This was a coordinated terrorist attack, sir.
I was a wartime general. Now I'm a wartime president. Your inner circle's been compromised. Let me fix it. Watch yourself. You're not Steve Rogers. You're right. I'm not. We're on the brink of war. I can't trust anyone. Nothing about this feels right. Captain America. You ever ask yourself, who's playing who?
And we're back. So, Joe, what are your thoughts on Captain America: Brave New World?
I thought it was okay. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I don't know why this is getting so much flack.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I thought it was the one thing that almost like had me a little nervous was the directing. But I thought it was good.
Yeah, I didn't see any flaws. I mean,
No.
there was a couple times where CGI might have been a little too. I think that they must have rushed some scenes, especially in the end. There's like a fight in cherry blossoms, and it looks very.
Janky.
It looks like they're on a green screen. It just does not look very good. He has like a speech, and he's like standing there in the street,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, that does not look right. Something looks wrong. That looks very sci-fi original.
How'd you feel about Harrison Ford?
I don't really have any problems with this.
Okay.
This movie is not that bad. If anything, it might be spreading itself too thin. There is a lot of characters, a lot of things going on, a lot of twists and turns, a lot of stuff. And I wouldn't say any of it exactly like falls together really neatly. You know, I feel like,
It's a bit chaotic.
yeah, I feel like Anthony Mackie might actually take a back seat in his own movie a little bit.
I didn't feel that way.
I mean, he's great. I mean, he's good and he's important and everything around him is, you know, I'm just feeling like there are so many other things trumping
Yeah.
this movie.
You think they tried to cram too much.
Oh, they have so many characters
Yeah.
in this movie.
I mean,
It's
I
unreal.
definitely will agree with you, but I still think Anthony Mackie stands out. I mean, he's really great as Captain America. I
The-
think he is.
There's like 3 levels of villains.
There, yeah.
Actually 4 if you count another one being like a misunderstanding. Or 5 if you count the opening.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild if you ask me.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in this.
Yeah. I enjoyed it though. I as a comic book fan in particular, wow, they did a lot. They got a lot of characters. They pulled a lot of references from their own lore of movies. Brought new characters in. I was pretty impressed with all that. I wasn't. I was never bored.
No, I wasn't bored. No, not at all.
I
There's always
enjoyed
a lot
it.
going on. There's always a lot of things that, like eye candy to look at.
Yeah.
You know, just a lot of fight scenes and flying. The flying I really like because he just looks wonderful with the wings and I mean Falcon America.
You like it with the wings.
I
and the
like Falcon
things.
America.
Yeah, Falcon America. I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
They even try to put a new Falcon in here. I think that maybe his character, and then there's like Chief, like head of security character that are a little. They don't seem very developed. They feel like they're kind of just put on.
Yeah, the head of security character played by Shira Haas. I am not a fan of her character at all. Not the actress, but the character.
I would say that the character is not developed or even explored to even get a chance to be anything special.
Yeah,
it just feels like it's there, and you're like, oh, I'm
She's
supposed to
just
feel
a little
something.
too robotic for me. I don't know. I felt like I was watching like the T-1000, but
Yeah.
like in girl form. What was Kristana Loken's
Oh, I have no idea what that one was
handle in the
called.
T3?
What was her handle?
What was her handle? She was a T
I think she went
3000
by.
or something.
I think she went by Bandit.
10-4, good buddy.
I think that was her handle.
Oh God! But I thought Danny Ramirez, he played Joaquin.
Yeah.
I thought he was okay, but
Again,
honestly,
I feel like it was just not explored enough.
not explored enough. But also, he seemed to be like the stock jokey, side character.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't slapsticky or ridiculous, but he had that element of the jokey side character.
I agree.
I don't think we really necessarily needed that. I would have been fine with just having Falcon America, but I didn't mind him. I thought he was charming.
I'm a little surprised they felt like they needed a sidekick this quickly.
True.
Yeah.
Maybe they felt like, or when I say he, I meant the writer director. Maybe he felt that maybe it just needed a little bit something extra.
Yeah.
That
strange
maybe
to me.
Anthony Mackie, he didn't want him to carry the whole thing on his shoulders.
Yeah.
I get that. I do. But I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fun. I feel like there could be more that's explored here. Like you said, the characters, some of the characters were not fleshed out enough, but ultimately it was a fun ride.
Yeah, I would say that there's a couple scenes. I can see where some stuff might have been edited out because there are scenes that you feel like one thing's about to happen and then it just is like, nah, move over.
Yeah.
In particular, there's a villain who does a sequence where he shows up to pull a bad guy move and say, like this whole thing, like I'm going to take these things from you and kill some people. And then the next scene, he's in a completely different outfit and he's giving up.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's strange. It feels like something was missing in between this.
Yeah.
Or this was edited in a way where they put it in different areas where it originally was like it had a whole lot more. One part was in the beginning and the other part was at the end.
Right. Yeah.
And it feels like they might have located these scenes, and they must have thought, well, this looks great. I want to keep it in there, but it fell out of place. And there's a bunch of that in this. Like, there's a lot with like Harrison Ford, and it feels like it's always going to go there. And then they're like, okay, we're coming back from it. And then they're like, no, we're going back to it again. And you're like, didn't we just kind of like put the resolution on that?
Yeah.
And it was like, no,
No.
we're not doing that. We're going to do it again.
Yeah, we're gonna circle back.
Yeah. And I would say that those are probably the problems, but without a doubt, I am not bothered by it at all.
No, I feel like Giancarlo Esposito could have been in it more. I feel
Yeah.
like he's a terrific actor. We love him. And I think he should have had a little bit more.
Yeah. Very, very cool. I actually like some of his fight sequence was actually a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it really was. And every time he was on the screen, which was not much, he's very he just draws you in. He's great. I love watching him. Anything that he does.
He's playing Marvel Comics version of DC Comics Deadshot, Sidewinder.
Sidewinder.
I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, but I would anything else like what would you give us as a score?
We said 6, and here's the deal. I said this before. I know a lot of people crap on these movies, and then they give them very low scores a lot of the time. I think we saw this with and I personally thought that I think the Marvels was the last. I don't know if Guardians was after the Marvels. I don't know. I don't
Guardians
remember.
3? No, I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Well, as much as I like Guardians 3, I thought the Marvels was like one of the worst movies that came out that year.
Yeah.
And that's just me. But I think a lot of people crap on these films and give them a lot more hate, and they kind of forget that they're just fun.
Right.
And I think that Quantumania got a lot of shit for it because people were just like, it's so dumb and it's so bad. And I'm not really sure. I've seen way worse. We've had like Craven the Hunter. We've had Madam Web. We can see what is worse looking.
Yeah.
And in that comparison, I don't hate these movies, so I'm always rating them higher than I normally would. I think this is better than a 6. I really do. I actually thought this was a fun film. I was never bored. I was never like, I hate this scene. I have problems. Sure, there's like unbelievable things happening and, just ridiculousness. And how did we get out of this? And how do we get from here to there?
Right.
Sure. But I didn't once think this is a bad movie. This looks bad. No, not once.
No.
I had a lot of fun watching it. I thought it was fine. Is it my favorite of Marvel movies? No, absolutely not. But I don't think it's bad. And so I think I'm leaning toward the 7.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's an enjoyable film. I think it's fun. Sure, it could have been even more, but I don't think it's close to that mediocre. That 5, I don't think that's 6. I feel like that's too low.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like it's on the higher end of a 6. I can't push it over to a 7. I don't see anything super duper wrong with it, but there are little things that I would change or add in that I felt were missing. So I'm going to stick with my 6. Yeah. I mean, it's a high 6, but we don't do the point system.
Since
so.
we don't do the point system and we always kind of push, that's why I think I'm going a 7, because that high 6 is tilting. And I'm like, oh, it's a high 6. It's a 7. It's a low 7. It's right there. Like I can't, I guess I'm really, I give a pass to a lot of these movies, but when I saw the Marvels, I went, this is just, it's like it's ruining the franchise. Everything we kind of got. It's just doing so many dumb things. Unfortunately, I do like Miss Marvel, and I liked her show, and I really like that character.
Oh, we thought Kamala Khan was like adorable.
I think that actress is killing it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the movie around her was just so silly, so stupid, and it made the other alien universes bad. To me, it's like here, this felt like it was remending a lot of the things that Marvel's been fucking up.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're talking me into a 7, so.
I mean, I don't want to.
No,
I understand a 6
you're
completely.
making some good points. You're making good points. I mean, it's a high 6. I did enjoy myself. I did. I'll give it a 7. I'm gonna go 7. I can't really say my issues on here, but I had a couple issues. But I would say I'll be pushed over to a 7.
And your issues were plot-wise, is what you're saying.
I would say I have a couple issues with the plot, but also characters. So we'll talk about that off pod.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say go. You have to go see it. Support Anthony Mackie. He's great.
I mean, again, I enjoyed this flick. I mean, it could have been so much worse.
It could have, yes. It could have. It could have been the Marvels and Brie Larson and her freaking ego and.
I know. I feel like we're shitting on Marvels, but I'm trying to make a point about, oh my God, like every little thing that you could have done wrong was done wrong to me. Mm-hmm. And here I was like, they're trying to really, touch on some things that are lingering, some bringing old things back, doing winks in the universe that, the things that you want to happen. And while still trying to say, this guy, how do you replace, Chris Evans as Captain America? How do you do that? And the movie knows that. And they have the character constantly battling with that. And I thought it's done well.
Yeah, he even says, a couple times in the film, like, how do I replace Steve Rogers?
Yeah.
Like, how do I do this? How will I ever be as good as Steve Rogers?
The doubt is much a character as anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think he's great. He's very energetic. He's very charming and he's great to watch in the fight scenes. I think he does a great job. I
Yeah.
really appreciate Anthony Mackie. So, yeah, I'm glad we watched this, and I think everyone should go see it. Support this movie.
Yeah. All right. So that's our thoughts. We're leaning into 7. Right. And, so I'm sure in a couple days after we think about it more, we'll be like constantly like maybe knocking it down a little bit or whatever, or saying, you know what, that is a good score. But yeah, this is our instant thoughts.
Yeah.
All right, then. But until next time, thanks for listening, everybody, and have a good one. We'll see you on the flippity flop.
You want me? Come and get me!